branch of the military
I was
were you
in the
in?
Marine Corps.
Okay. And then where did you serve?
I went in the Marine Corps in 1966, and I got out in 1969. And I enlisted in the Marines for 3 years.
Okay.
And I was an infantryman, rifleman, and that's me right there.
Oh, nice.
And that's me up there.
Gosh.
See? And all these three pictures.
Awesome.
This one,
Look at
this
that.
one, and that's me there. And this picture here is my company I was with in Vietnam. And from these are, all the guys were killed.
Oh.
You know, I was with a union, they gave us, if you were on a certain hill, this LZ Loom, it was a hilltop we were on. And there was 43 Marines killed, a lot of my friends. And I take it to the wall, and I put it to the wall when there's a wall there, you know, and people look at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's my company too. See the company patch? Company patch up there, same patch.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, and that, you know, I was an infantryman. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a letter writing home, and we called the bush. It was jungle. You know?
Yeah.
And we just give us a couple minutes, but you always had to be ready because the NVA shoot you anytime you're ready. You know, so you had to be ready. And my M16 there, and I'm writing home a letter. And this here was on this picture here was on top of this LZ Loom.
Yeah.
And this was just before we got hit before anyone was killed. You know, we used to dig deep foxholes and have all my ammunition ready. And the NVA came up on the hills from all sides around us, you know. But so and these guys, this is Adam. You're gonna maybe interview Adam next, as you were supposed to. Right?
Was it?
Yeah. Adam's got COVID right now.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, he had the third shot too, right?
Crazy.
I was supposed to go to the fields of Valor or something like that, where they take you to Washington, D.C. as a veteran.
Yes.
And I was supposed to do that, but I'd only had 2 of my shots. And he said, and maybe in October, everything's slowing down, we'll take the rest of you guys, you know. So I had to back off of that one.
Okay.
But anyway, get back to that stuff. Yeah, so I was in Vietnam from 1967 to 1968. And I was wounded. I had the Purple Heart, and I had the shrapnel on my neck and my back and my arms. And I spent about, I was wounded in my 10th month.
Okay.
And then they sent me to a place called Da Nang, got stitches, and then they sewed me back up, and then they sent me right back out to the bush. And I stayed there for 13 months. But I did get R&R. They gave you R&R. I went to Australia for seven days. So that was fun. And then right back to the bush again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Yeah, I went in. I was very. I still am very patriotic. I still love my country, and I wanted to. I knew I was going to go to Vietnam. You know, at the time, everybody was going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? If I'm going to go to Vietnam, I want to go to the best unit I could be in. So I enlisted in the Marines. And sure enough, they made me a rifleman.
Yeah.
and it was scary. I was lucky to come home. And another question?
Do you remember much about like what it was first like when you got there?
What it was like?
Yeah.
Well, when I first got there, I landed at this big air base. It was called Da Nang. And Da Nang was like very busy. They had the jets there, but Da Nang was taking. They were still throwing rockets and mortars in there, and these guys were walking around with patches on their eyes and their arms. And I said, "Whoa!" Reality hit me. I said, "Whoa!" You know, I kept saying to myself, I don't know if I'm going to come home. This is scary. You know?
Yeah.
So from there, they put us on a big C-130 planes. They took us down to Phu Bai, which was our rear. It was my Charlie Company rear. And Phu Bai, we landed, and it was raining out. It was monsoon season. It was raining out. And we got out of the plane. We had to get out of the plane fast because they were mortaring the airport, the airfield. And I remember getting out, and I always remember the South Vietnamese army was supposed to be with us, helping us. They weren't. The North was bad. The South was good. So they were like kind of laughing at us because we just came from the States, you know. So they take us to. We had to walk to our company command post and Charlie Company office, and it was raining out and muddy out. I mean, the mud was so thick. I mean, you had to pick your foot up one at a time, you know. So they take us in front of the hut. They called it a hut, and they issued our flak jackets, which was supposed to protect us, and a helmet. So it's raining out. You get a picture of this, right? And it's cold out, and muddy out. And I just got there, and they come out with the flak jacket, and the flak jacket had blood on it, and it was still steaming. Right? So I said, "Don't you have another one?"
Yeah.
You either wear that, or you get nothing. You know. Yeah. Okay. So now they come out with my helmet. The helmet is caked with mud, right? They put this on my head. I said, "Man, I thought I was never going to come home." You know. So I remember they said, "You got 45 minutes, and they're going to pick you up with these flatbed trucks, and they take you up to the front where you were supposed to be going." So wow, I was so freaking nervous. It was like, so there was a little straw hut in the back there. I went back there. I prayed. And I used to carry. You can see in the picture this most blessed heart of Jesus right here. I still have my wallet to this day. I do, and I just believe that my faith got me through it all, you know.
So you said you wrote letters home to family.
What's that?
You said you wrote letters home to family. Were you able to write letters home to family?
Write letters home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what we did, I would write it like that, and I would stick it in an envelope, and I'd keep it in my pack until I got back before I could send it out. And how I took those pictures was a little compass pouch, and I took the compass out, and I kept it in 104 Instamatic. We see old-fashioned cameras, and I would take my pictures, and I would give it to somebody else, and I'd take a picture, and then once I got the roll filled, I stick it in an envelope, I sent it home. And my mom, she didn't get them all, but she's got a lot, and she saved them for me and put them in an album. When I came home, gave it to me in an album. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, you write a letter anywhere. You sit down,
Yeah.
you know, we used to put these, when we came back, we were in the rear, we put these little rubber hooches up, and we sit underneath there, keep out of the sun, and we would sit on a box, write on a box, whatever you could. You know, and it was always great to get a letter from home, and sometimes you get a care package, would be really nice.
Yeah. What were like the food and supplies?
What's that?
The food and supplies.
Food and supplies.
Yeah.
They used to give us called sea rations, and they were in cans, and they had all kinds of stuff in there. They gave you a little. If a guy smoked, a little bit of 3 cigarettes. You would get a little roll for toilet paper. You'd get a metal P38, they call it, for like a can opener.
Yeah.
And they come in a little box like this, you know. And sometimes, like, you would take, like, when I go out on, we call it a mission, I would take, like, 2, maybe a week of sea rations, pack them in my pack, you know. And then when you stay out there longer, they would drop off by helicopter these big boxes full of the sea rations. And sea rations could be anything like meatballs and beans. It could be eggs and bacon, eggs and ham. They even gave you a can of dessert, you know. And my favorite was, we used to call pecan cake roll. And I would never smoked, so I would trade my cigarettes for a pecan cake roll. and I used to they give you chocolate like a tea or chocolate. What's it? Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Okay.
Hot chocolate. They give you hot chocolate and I would have that, and I'd sit back, and they give you little heat tabs. They call them heat tabs. You would take one of the empty cans, you make holes in it, and you put a heat tab in it. And that's how you would get something hot. You know, you put your thing over the top of the other can. And we'd sit back, and when we had a couple minutes, and I remember we used to talk all the time about home, you know.
Yeah.
And we'd say, we'd start talking about our mom's cooking, you know. I wish I had that. What's the first thing you're going to have when you go home, you know? And what's the first thing you're going to have, you know? My mom made the best this, my mom made the best that, you know? All the time, you know, because it was just something to think about home.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So we stayed there for the whole, like, the tour of duty was 13 months. And if if you got wounded really bad, maybe I know a couple of guys who were wounded like 8th month, 9th month. They didn't have to come back because they stayed aboard the hospital ship. Whereas my wounds were not life-threatening. So once I get fixed up, they send you back. If you had 3 Purple Hearts, so they wouldn't. You get out of the field. You wouldn't have to go back to the field. But who wants 3 Purple Hearts?
Right. Do you have any distinctive memories that are good, I guess, from your time?
Yeah, yes, I got a lot of them. Yeah. I was going to tell you, I had a picture, I don't have it here, but I remember, like I said, we're in the jungles. I had a machete, and I come up to this bananas. They're only like little tiny like this. And I said, wow, And right in the middle, I said, I'm going to cut these down. Cut them down and put them in my pack, So I walked with them, we call it humped. Walked with them for a day and got them ripe. And we set in, and we always dig a foxhole for the nighttime because we always set in, try to get on the top of a high ridge so we can see down what's coming up on us, So we dig our foxholes around like that. I got done digging my foxhole, and I said, I have my sea rations. The bananas look good. I'll eat my bananas. Just as I opened that banana up, hundreds of monkeys appeared. Yeah, and they were one of my bananas. I mean, they were threatening. They were. So I was like, whoa, you ain't getting my bananas. I had no choice, though, because they were like, coming.
Yeah.
I'm running up to you, running back. Running to you, running back. So I had to take the bananas, throw them out there. And they took off with the bananas. Yeah. And I told my friend about that story. He goes, bananas? Monkeys. I never saw a monkey over there. I said, well, you carried bananas with you. You see some monkeys.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that are incidents. I mean, scary things happen to me. I mean, I don't like to talk about them too much, but I mean, I don't know. It's just like just so many things happened, and when I was wounded, I was we were outside we're in a bunkers, and we had incoming. Incoming is when the bombs come in, rockets. And they shot six of them that day, right at my area. And we were outside. Finally, we got to get out. We were in a place called Kylene. It was very heavily bombed all the time. And we finally got out to stay out and sunny. We're talking, we're feeling relaxed because nothing's happening. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, 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 boom. And we run like heck, to get to the bunker. And the last round landed pretty close to me. Threw me inside the bunker. I was unconscious. I woke up with the shrapnel. I mean, there's times where, we would come in these hilltops in helicopters, and you can't land on sometimes because you got a lot of trees and shrubs and bushes, and so you would have to jump out of the helicopter. And when we flew into an ambush, the NVA ambushed us. We were on a hilltop, but they were on all the other hills all around us. So when we came in, they started shooting at us with big machine guns and mortars, and the helicopter I was on got hit. And I was about maybe like the fourth guy off the helicopter, and then the helicopter blew up. So some of the guys didn't get off. But I tripped over a Marine that was in front of me, and meantime, the machine gun rounds were hitting, and the only thing that saved me was I ran into we used to have these B-52 bombers come in and drop the big bombs, and they would blow craters, maybe from like there to here, maybe this high. And I tripped, and I didn't know what was there, and I rolled into it. And one of the other Marines rolled on top of me. But that saved us because they had me pinpointed with this big machine gun, the 60 caliber, they call it. And every time I picked my head up, boom, 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 boom. So for about a half hour, I couldn't move because they had us pinpointed in the hole, I mean, things like that, I mean, things where, you go out, I mean, we used to go out in ambushes, we call them ambushes. An ambush would be like I was a sergeant, so I would take my squad, 12 guys, and we'd go out in ambush. We'd darken our faces up, We'd take anything that made noise off of us, so we couldn't make any noise. We take our dog tags off, or if they have them wrapped in rubber, sometimes we're okay. And we go out about maybe 300 yards from front of the main force, because the idea is that if the enemy is coming up, we're going to set off the action first, so they'll know what's going on. So we set out there, and you lay in the jungle. See that grass up there? That's how what just laying there. And you touch one of each of those hands, make sure you couldn't see it because it's pitch dark. Touch each other's hands like that. One would look this way, one would look that way. So that if the enemy come up either way, you have a chance to shoot them. So then you turn around and everybody shoot the right way. But so when I was laying in there like that, it was hard. You try to stay awake. When you're walking all day long and you're humping all day long and you're tired, and then all of a sudden you set in, you dig your foxhole and you set in, and then now they tell you go out in night ambush, and you go out there and it's like you kind of doze. I never fell asleep, but you and all of a sudden something black got on my belly. Right? So I said, I look up like this. Oh shit! The hell is that? So this thing looks at me like this. Looks like, oh boy. So the only thing I could do, because you won't make any noise out there, So all I do is shake my belly up and down. And this thing just looked at me again, and then just luckily walked off and went off by itself. And I mean, you'd be talking. There were a lot of rats over there.
Yeah.
They would come for all the sea rations the guys would leave around. Snakes. I was on another patrol, and we were just walking, and there was a guy in front of me, and you'd walk from here, maybe to the bar, and then there'd be a guy there, and you space yourself out, because in case you got bombed, everybody would get killed, So we would spread, and I'm walking in a jungle like that, and this bamboo viper, it's only about this big, it's green as the bushes were. This truck just swung out of the tree and bit the guy in front of me in the arm, And they call it the 1-2 stepper. And when you get bit, you take 1-2 steps, you're dead. But this guy fell down and he started shaking like a fish. And I was the first one up, so I put a tourniquet above his arm. And the corpsman came up. I called corpsman, come up. He cut 2 cuts and he squeezed as much poison he could out of it. And we thought this guy had died, So we had to put them, they call them body bags, black bags. Brought a body bag up, put them in, zippered them up. And we couldn't get them out of there because we're on a hilltop like this. And we're all bamboo trees. We chopped the bamboo trees down, we only left the stumps. So the helicopter couldn't come in, but we timed them. We had to tell like 4 or 5 times before we got him into. Helicopter came down with a ramp like this, and he would just be hoovering and go up and down, up and down. Finally got his body in there. I felt so bad because I had nothing I could do. I was thinking, what could I have done? I couldn't have saved him because it was right in front of me. I saw the whole thing happen. And I felt so bad for years. So I went to one of my reunions. We have these reunions, matter of fact, in September, for the reunion. It's just my company, Charlie Company. We all meet. And this one guy, he did well for himself. He lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Beautiful pavilion that he's made in. He's got waterfalls, and he brings a band in for us. And we put the silhouettes up of all these guys that were killed with the names on it, and we honor them. We say prayers for them and we tribute to them. But then we have a good time. He cooks a pig roast for us and all that. We had pig roast and we talk. And we are old buddies. So so we got talking, right? And somebody said, "Hey, whatever happened to that guy got bit by the bamboo viper?" And I said, "Died. I was right there." Another guy says, "No, they sent him back to Da Nang. They revived him." Yeah, he made it through. So, oh my God, I saw all these years. I thought he died,
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear that, real nice to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave your eggs in here. Everybody's gone.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Pat.
No problem. Be good. Be good. Don't listen to him. You lie a lot.
Oh, okay.
You lie a lot. Don't listen.
They're good boys, good guys. Yeah. So then what here did something else to it. They call a listening post. You're asking me you got anything come up like a little funny, or whatever, A listening post. A listening post is pretty much similar to a night ambush, but the only thing is listening post, they would send 3 of us out there. We would take a handset, a phone, and we go down in front of the lines, like 300 yards again. And this time it's always raining and muddy over there. And we started sliding, couldn't stop. He told us we didn't want to go too far because they told us the NVA regiments are all around us. If we go too far, you get captured. So we would start sliding, and everybody grabbed onto my arms, right? And we're sliding down. We couldn't stop. All of a sudden, boom. I got stopped with something on my feet. So everybody, I pulled them into me, and we put our feet on it. And it was pitch dark. Can't see nothing. So that night, the NVA was creeping up on us. And we waited. So I called the captain. I said, sir, there's movement all around us. He says, I want you to stay there until you can tell whether it's patrol size or regimental size. Okay. So now we're staying there, right? Next thing you know, everything's moving around us. The NVAs were all around us. And we said, the hell with the captain, man. We're getting out of here. No, we can't. So we tried to get back up the hill.
Yeah.
It was so slippery and muddy. It took us forever to get back up the hill. And matter of fact, we almost didn't get back into our own lines because they're shooting down at us. They thought we were the NVA. And then they're throwing grenades down by us, and the grenades are rolling by and exploding.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling, hey, it's Paulus, let us in.
Yeah.
And they go, and the guy goes, yeah, it is Paulus, let this effing guy in.
Yeah.
You know? So I get in, and that night they tried to overrun us that night. They tried to get through our lines. It was some hand-to-hand combat. It was really bad. But the next day, on the way, now we get all packed up again, and we go out humping again. So now we're looking again for the NVA, walking down the mountaintops. And I come across this where I stopped at. Look at it. It was a B-52 bomb that we settled on, which was still active. And we would hit that the wrong way, but our feet would blow up. But walking by, we all said, "Oh my God!" We were laughing. Holy, B-52 bomb. That's what we stopped on. What else you got?
How was your transition home?
Oh, it was hard. It was hard. When I got home, my family met me at the airport, New York Airport. It was some, my little brothers. It was nice to be home. And when I went to Middlesex County College on a GI Bill, and there was always demonstrations going on everywhere, in the courtyard, and everybody was a big hippie movement then.
Yeah.
With peace,
Yeah.
So you couldn't walk out in the courtyard, and you want to tell everybody, you're home. You want to talk about what you did,
Yeah.
But nobody wanted to hear you. Nobody
Yeah.
listened to you because they were all against the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
At this time.
Yeah.
But see, in 67, 68, and even 69, it was still a lot of patriotism. And people went to serve your country because we believed that we were stopping communism.
Yeah.
See how communism spread right now?
That's right.
We thought we were going, they told us, we got to stop this communism, So we all believed in it. And we went there, and we fought for our country.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to demonstrations. He didn't say nothing. So I was sitting in class one day, and this teacher, he's the head of the Students for Democratic Society, and he was telling all the students that, the young kids, now I'm 20 years old now, right? So he's telling all the students, they're 17, 18 years old, not right out of high school, don't go to the service, burn your draft card, go to Canada. Russia has so much better ideas than what we have, And my buddy next to me was in the Navy, right? And he said to me, John, can you believe it? What you just went through? And this guy's telling these students that they shouldn't support your country like you did? I said, he got me mad, I said,
Yeah.
he's right. I went up to the front of the class. I put my finger in the guy right in his chest. I said, hey, what you're telling these kids is not right. I said, this is America. They live here. If your country calls you to go, you got to go. I said, that's how it is. If it's not, you're in the wrong country.
Yeah.
And he says, whoa, come outside, I'll talk to you. Took me outside. You're right. I shouldn't have been saying that much about it. I won't talk about it anymore. And I always tell everybody, the funny story was I got almost a B+ in that course. So, but my grandson said to me the other day, he says, Pa, what I see going on right now, he says, I don't want to go to war. I won't go. I says, Nick, you live in this country. If they call you to go, you can't. You got to go. This is what America is. I mean, it's not, things are not right what's going on right now, but you still got to go. If everybody said they're not going to go, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was all over like that. I couldn't talk to anybody. The first person to listen to me was my wife. She was. You know, I met her at a nightclub, and we it wasn't the first night. We didn't talk about that, about Vietnam life, but when I started dating her, you know, we talked.
Yeah.
She listened to everything. She wanted to see my pictures. You know, it was nice to talk to somebody about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was just a sentiment. And after '69, it got even worse. You know, it was like we had to get out of Vietnam because the sentiment in the country was really against it.
Yeah.
I got the one grandson right now. He's in the Coast Guard.
Okay.
And I mean, you know, he's patrolling up and down Port Canaveral in Florida there.
Yep.
And they go up and down. They look for people that are like illegals, and if they pick them up, they take them back to where they came from.
Yes.
Did you pursue any particular career once you came back?
Did I pursue a career?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a restaurateur person.
Awesome.
I had 3 restaurants.
Nice.
Yeah. I would buy them, get them going, and I would sell them. And I did that. I was in the business for 36 years with my wife and myself. And I give my wife a lot of credit, you know. She worked with me side by side. And my dad and mom, when I first started in the first place, they come up, they worked with us, they got me going, you know. And I learned a lot. We did a lot of weddings, catering, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, I knew I never wanted. I couldn't work for somebody else. I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
And my father had a pizzeria when I was growing up, and I worked for him when I was a young kid. You know, so I always had that. I want to be my own boss. You know.
Yeah.
And when I came back, it wasn't for my dad. And I called him up. I said, "Hey, Dad, where do you folks live? Around here?"
Pittstown, Hunterdon County.
Yeah, because my first place I bought was in High Ridge. And my dad, I called him, I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "what do you think? I'm taking this old butcher shop and I'll turn it into like a 7-Eleven type operation." And he goes, "That's a good idea, Johnny." You know, I was 20 years old. I mean, I didn't know nothing about financing and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Yeah, go for it. That's a good idea." So he came up and he helped me. He stayed with me for like 6 months, you know, and that's where I got and then I bought another business without my parents, and I did it all myself, you know, by myself. Then I went to another business, did it all by myself, you know, with my wife, you know, and that's what I did.
That's awesome.
I was able to pack it in when I was 59 and a half, which was good.
That is good. Yeah.
So, you know, you've got I was a hard worker. I was always a hard worker, and I always believe you work hard at something that you have a passion for, you know, and then you stay focused on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it can work out. I tell my grandsons that, you know, when you pick something, stick with it. Do it all you've got, 100% into it, you know, and do everything you can to learn it and make it a passion that you want to do that. So we'll see what works out for them.
Yeah. You said you go to reunions and everything.
I said, what?
You go to reunions. Reunions.
Was that reunite?
Reunions. Yeah.
Attend reunions.
I'm sorry, I still hear that.
Reunions.
You go to.
I'm
You
sorry.
attend reunions.
How many was I in?
No. Do you go? How many reunions do you attend?
Oh, reunions. Oh, we go
Yeah.
once a year.
Okay.
Once a year. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's
You know,
fine.
I mean, I suppose this year I can't hear on it, you know.
Yeah.
This year I should be wearing a hearing aid. No, this year is pretty good. You know, it's just this year that I have a hard time. You know? And like my wife too, you know, now I find myself asking the same thing for twice, once every time I get it. You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's
But
fine.
no, we go to reunions every September.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do the same thing. We put out the silhouettes, and we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we do the national anthem, and we honor our brothers that have fallen before us. And it's cool because I went up this past reunion. This L.Z. Loon, they wrote a book about it, about us. There's a book, if you ever want to read a book, it's called L.Z. Loon by Jack McLean. It tells you, it's a good story about, he wrote the book at the same age as me. We went in the Marines at the same time, went to Vietnam at the same time, and he was in my squad. So he wrote a book, and it's really, I read it, it just keeps your interest. You can't even stop reading it. But anyway, he goes to the reunions, and I was talking to another guy that was there, And I walked up to him, and sometimes, after all these years, you got to say, wait a minute, did that really happen? Am I exaggerating this maybe, So I went up to the guy and I said, hey, Terry, I said, were you there when our lieutenant or our gunny sergeant were down in the foxhole and they were shooting sniper rounds, ping, ping, and shooting rock mortars in on us, and you said, Paulus, get up here, bring your M79 man. I said, Poole, his name was Poole, come on up with me. So M79 is a little short rifle like this. It looks like almost like a shotgun, but it has a barrel like that. So Poole and I go run up there, right? And the lieutenant and the captain down in the foxhole, not worried about getting hit because they're down there. And we're up top of the round, up top there. He says, Paulus, there's a sniper in that tree up there. He says, tell Poole to put 2 shots up there. You can knock him out. So Poole gets down on his knee, and he's got the M79s on the ground. First round, and then all of a sudden I hear, where the hell did that come from? Let's try it again, Poole. The captain says, the lieutenant says, Poole's dropping him on us. He's not doesn't have the right angle. So I run down to Poole and I kicked him. I said, Poole, you dumb son of a bitch, get a tree, man. So the lieutenant says, Paul, let's take that M79. Get that son of a bitch up there. I took the M79. I knocked him out of the tree. So I relayed his story to Terry. He goes, yeah. He says, yeah. The only problem is, though, he switched it around a little bit, so he's seeing things change. He says, yeah, I called Poole up. I said, wait a minute, I'm not going to argue. I said, I called Poole up, But yes, he remembers being there, So, I mean, there's somebody remembered that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, are there any other stories that you want to share?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to bounce around a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good friend of mine that was with. We were in boot camp together. We made a Med cruise together, and went to Vietnam together. Well, he had died from Agent Orange. Agent Orange is they used to spray. Like when we land those hilltops, they would all be all fried, burnt like it was a forest fire. Agent Orange killed everything, and we don't know to this day. I'm lucky so far. I've got things with me that's wrong, but could be from Agent Orange. But anyway, my friend made me his best man at his wedding when we came home, and then like maybe he came to one of my restaurants, and they always used to call me Sergeant Rock because they thought that I was I used to get him into some bad stuff, It wasn't my fault. The captain told me I got to go. So, but a sergeant, he died of Agent Orange. I was pretty upset about that. And I mean, let me see what else I can tell you. Going into, I mean, a lot of it's like shooting and stuff like that, But I kind of told you.
Yeah.
Oh, I went in 1 hour. I took an Australia.
Yeah.
That was fun.
What did you do there?
What I do in there?
Yeah.
Whiskey and go-go.
Yeah.
Danced and drank. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just happy to be, doing our own thing.
Yeah. It's awesome. What did you think of your fellow officers?
Fellow officers?
Yeah.
Well, the captain that was on LZ Moon, Captain Negro, his name was, he was tough. I used to look at him, I'd follow him everywhere. He looked, I'd say, he looks like a football player. No, he looks like a boxer, because I knew he was from the Bronx. And we were going out into Quezon. Quezon was really bad. There was a lot of incoming, a lot of rounds, We were going in there to relieve another company. And the captain, and nobody wanted to go. Everybody was like, oh, man, that's bad up there, oh, man, Well, the captain got on a flatbed truck, and he started singing the Marine Corps hymn to us. And all the officers got up on that truck and started singing the Marine Corps hymn, and we all started singing the Marine Corps hymn. And we were like rejuvenated. He psyched us all up. And we were going to go in, and we're going to kick butt, We went in with a great attitude. So at the reunion, he passed away last year. At the reunion, his daughter was there. And I had told her that. I said, your father, he inspired me, man. And she, he was a tough guy. And he inspired me. I said, when he said we go, we go. And she said she was like happy to hear that. I said, and when he sang the Marine Corps, you were there? I said, yeah, I was there when we sang that Marine Corps hymn. Wow, you know.
I think that's it. Unless you want to share anything else.
That's good. If you got anything else, let me know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Would I do it over again? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's a couple here. You want to look at
Okay.
I've got friends now that when I go to the reunion, I meet guys that are with me in my squad, my platoon, you know.
Yeah.
It's like great. I haven't seen them in 53 years.
Yeah.
Every now and then one shows up, another one shows up, you know, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. And I just happy to meet them, happy to see them.
Yeah.
And this guy does it all. He does all the cooking, and he takes us up to the highest peaks of the mountains, you know, and takes us on into a lake, you know, and by bus and all that. So we really have a good time. He brings in the color guard from one of the American Legions, you know, and they do the taps for us, you know. Yeah. But I'm pretty active here. I'm on the firing squad, or, you know, the 21 gun salute team. We do that, and I'm the chaplain here. And everybody kids me about being called Father John.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about it.
So it's left a positive impact, you would say?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if anything else you need, just let me know.
Okay.
All right?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to
Thank you.
that. Thank you for your service, John.